And now, before we start the lesson, I want to advertise for my own tuition program. Not my own, by our own. Okay. Nikisema mine, itakuwa na I'm not regarding the other teachers. There's a joint program. So we will be teaching from next week, 6 April to 24 April. So time is 7 to 9 p.m. And tuition fee is just 1,500 shillings. Sijui watu waona kitu gumu. So just like as always, the subjects will be taught will be English, Maths, Chemistry, and Biology. Tuition fee 1,500 shillings. Also, the number is there 0797550885 or 0736726008. So in case you want to reach out, you can reach out to us using those numbers. Okay. So just likewise, I've said, reach out through our numbers. So in case you want to see our timetable, let me show it to you. This is our own timetable. As you see, it is structured from first week to the last week. That is chemistry, Monday. I think this should be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But we'll correct on that. But these are the what do you call it? The subjects to be taught and the topics that will be taught during those 3 weeks. So I think you shouldn't miss on that, okay? Because it's very, very important for you to follow up through us. So inshallah, whenever you're free, just text me or Madam Mariam. The numbers are there, so don't miss out. And let's start the session.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Karibuni tena kwa channel yetu Mind Mastery Tutor, na kama kawaida jina ni Mr. Abdulkadir, and we're going to review this paper just for KCSE students. And again, taanza classes ya form 4 from next week. That is the April holiday program. So in case you want to reach us, just reach us through this number. It's not free, but it's most likely free because you just pay a very small amount. So usikose, kwa sababu we don't teach just maths, we teach maths, chemistry, biology, and also English. So don't miss out on the sessions. So without further ado, I won't waste my time. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe right now. So for section 1, that is 50 marks. You've been told to answer all the questions from this section. Now, question 1 says the nth term of an arithmetic progression is given by 5 plus 3 into bracket n minus 1 for all integral values of n. The question is asking you to find the common difference and the sum of the first 6 terms of the progression. So, now kutafuta nth term, formula ni hiyo 5 plus 3 into bracket n minus 1. So let's say if you want to find the first term, so the first term is given by 5 plus 3 times n minus 1, which is 1 minus 1, which eventually if you take 1 minus 1, which is 0, and 3 times 0 is 0, and if you add to 5, so the first term is basically 5. Now, what if we wanted to find for the second term? The second term would be obviously using the formula 5 plus 3 into bracket 2 minus 1, which 2 minus 1 gives you to be 1. Okay, and 5 plus 3 is going to be 8. So the second term is 8. So if our first term is 5 and the second term is 8, then what is our common difference? Right. So our common difference is going to be when you take the second minus the first, which is 8 minus 5, that is 3. So you know the first term and you know now the common difference. And now that's the first thing that we've solved. And the question is asking to find the sum of the first 6 terms. Now, sum of arithmetic progression is given by this formula, n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1 times d, where n is the number of terms. So n, your number of terms is 6, so therefore it's going to be 6 divided by 2, 2 times a, which is 2 times your first term, plus n minus 1, which is 6 minus 1 times your common difference, which is 3. But 6 divided by 2, is 3. 2 times 5 is 10. 6 minus 1 is 5 times 3. And 5 times 3 obviously is going to give you 15. So you get 3 times 10 plus 15 being 25. 3 times 25 is going to give you 75. And that is your second answer. So now, hopefully you've understood that. Let's go to the other question. Okay, question 2. It's about surds. Given that root 3 over root 5 plus root 3 plus 2 root 5 over root 5 minus root 3 equal to a plus b root c, where a, b, and c are constants. Find the value of a and b. So let's go most. There's also a simplest way to go about it as well. Let me use the simplest way. Now the simplest way is doing this, where we have root 3 over root 5 plus root 3, and then we have plus 2 root 5 over root 5 minus root 3. So now we can do this way, that is, we can try to multiply that root 5, since we have root 5 minus root 3, just multiply in this way. Okay, and do this, and take that one, multiply by root 5 minus root 3. And do the same thing with this one. You multiply by its conjugate, which is root 5 plus root 3. And the numerator you multiply by root 5 plus root 3. Okay, very simple. Now obviously the denominator will be root 5 plus root 3 times root 5 minus root 3. Okay, what about the numerator? So root 3 times root 5 gives you root of 15. And root 3 times negative root 3 is just 3, negative 3. Now let's go to the other part. 2 root 5 times root 5 gives you plus 2 times 5. Okay, and that is 10. So root 5 times root 5 giving you 5, then 5 times 2 giving you 10. Then 2 root 5 times root 3. So you take root 5 times root 3 to give you root 15, but remember the 2 is still behind root 15. So 2 root 5 times root 3 gives you 2 root 15. Now what happens? Collect the like terms. So root 15 plus 2 root 15 minus 3 plus 10. So root 15 plus 2 root 15 will give us 3 root 15, and minus 3 plus 10 will give us 10 minus 3 to be plus 7. Now what about the denominator? So the denominator, the easiest one or the easiest way is to do it like this, because we know this part of quadratic identities where we say a plus b times a minus b is going to give you a squared minus b squared. And therefore, rather than using the longest way, the shortest way is just by squaring the first one, and then squaring the second one, and then subtracting the 2. So root 5 squared gives you 5 itself, and root 3 squared gives you 3. So 3 root 15 plus 7 over 5 minus 3, which is 2. And that is your answer. Right. Is it your answer? Yes, that is your answer. But by here, that's not your answer. The question is very specific and it's telling you find the value of a and b. Correct. Now, how do you find the value of a and b? We can rewrite this and write it this way. So 3 root 15 divided by 2 plus 7 over 2. So, or rather than starting with the 3 root 15, you can start with 7 over 2 plus 3 over 2 root 15. So this is your A, this is your B. And let me write using a different pen. A is therefore 7 over 2 and B is therefore 3 over 2. But you can write 7 over 2 to be maybe 3.5, 3 over 2 being 1.5. So that is your answer. But better to write it in the mixed fraction. So 7 over 2, 3.5, 3 over 2 being 1.5. So correct. Question 3. Find the maximum value of x minus y over xy, given that x is greater or equal to 2 or less or equal to 4, and 0.8, y is greater or equal to 0.8 but less than or equal to 1.0, right? So is that hard? No. So you might see is being a difficult question, but not that difficult. Now this one, you know that for you to get maximum quotient, you basically take the maximum divided by the minimum. Now the numerator is usually a difference. So if you look at the numerator, is a difference, and also for you to get the maximum difference, what do? You take the maximum minus the minimum. Okay, so what is your maximum difference? Your maximum difference is going to be your maximum of x, because we are dealing with x, then subtracting with y. So the maximum of x is 4 minus the minimum of y, which is 0.8. So obviously our numerator, which is this one, is going to be 4 minus 0.8 and divide by the denominator, which is the minimum, and the minimum of xy, which is a product. You just take minimum times minimum, which is minimum 2 times 0.8. Now use your calculator, right? So we have 4 minus 0.8, which gives you 3.2, divided by 0.8 times 2. 0.8 times 2 gives you, I think, 1.6. So if you divide this 2, it gives you 2. Now let's go to the other question. Now, question 4. A transformation matrix M equal to, into bracket 2x minus 1, 0, 0, x plus 2 represents an enlargement. Find the value of x, hence describe the transformation M. Now, anything, the matrix for enlargement is usually equal to k, 0, 0, k, where this and this are equal. So the k's are equal. So let's take an example. If it's 2, 0, 0, it's going to be 2, 0, 0, 2, which is a scale factor of 2. So if you look at it very carefully, this and this are equal to each other. So automatically this means this and this will be equal to each other. So 2x minus 1 is equal to x plus 2. The negative 1 comes this goes here. So you get 2x minus x equal to 1 plus 2. That is negative 1. If you put it to the other side, it's going to be positive. And if you put the x to the other side, is going to be negative 2x minus x equal x. Now 1 plus 2 equal 3. Right. Your x is 3, but that's the first part of the answer. But that's not the answer. Okay. Now coming back to the transformation itself, where you say 2x minus 1. Okay. And there's 0, 0, x plus 2. Now, if x is 3, then basically x plus 2 is going to be 3 plus 2. Okay, it's going to be 3 plus 2, which is going to be 5. Now, if you use the same ideology, And if you say x to be 3, this the same case, 2 times 3 gives you 6, 6 minus 1 gives you 5. So this is an enlargement, obviously. This is an enlargement, obviously, scale factor 5 under 0, 0. That is the origin. Now let's go to the next question. Now, the first question, make P the subject of the formula. A equal to negative EP over root of P squared plus 9. Now, since this is the equation, let's remove the denominator by multiplying root of P squared plus n. Also doing the same thing with here. Multiplying root of P squared plus n. So remember, this is the whole root. So automatically, you'll get something like this. A root P squared plus n. This and this will cancel out. So you just remain with negative EP. Now remove the square root. So you need to square the whole thing. So you also square the whole thing here. So if you square the whole thing, obviously this is going to be a squared, and the root there will get eliminated, and therefore you'll have p squared plus n, which is equal to negative e squared p squared here. So obviously open up, it's going to be a squared p squared, a squared times p squared gives you a squared p squared plus a squared n, which is equal to negative e squared p squared. Now the next step is to make the p's to come together. And if you put this here and put this to the other side, so you're going to get a squared p squared plus e squared p squared, right? Which is equal to negative an. Now, knowing that, and knowing that this 2, the common factor for this 2 is going to be p squared, therefore factorize p squared, and you're going to get a squared plus e squared, which is equal to negative an. Now divide it, and you're going to get this way, which is negative an divided by a squared plus e squared, and p squared is this one, and p is going to be, you need to remove the square by square rooting this, and therefore p squared is going to be plus or minus negative an over a squared plus e squared. Now, 2 grades of rice, A and B, costing at 160 shillings per bag and X shillings per kg respectively, are mixed in the ratio 3:1. So that by selling the mixture at 195 shillings is 195 shilling, a profit of 30% is realized. Find the cost of B per kg. Okay, I think this is supposed to be per bag. I think this is supposed to be per kg. I don't know why they wrote per bag, but all in all, just remove it. Okay, now what we do is very simple. First thing, we need to know the cost price. Okay, so we say that he made a profit of 30%, so 130% is the 195 shillings. So let's find the cost price, which is 100%. So we do 100 times 195 divided by 130. Okay, so we get 100 times 195 divided by 130, which gives you 150. So finally, your answer here is supposed to be 150 shillings. No, but we still continue, and you know that this is the cost price. So what you did, you mixed them. Okay, so you took the A and you multiply with the ratio, which is 3. And then you took the cost of B, which you don't know, but if you multiply by its ratio 1, and then we divide by the sum of the ratio, which is 3 plus 1, to give you the cost price of 150 shillings. Okay, that's how we solve it, because we want to find the total price for the cost of rice A and find the total price of rice B, then divide by the sum of those two ratios. So 160 times 3 is supposed to be 480 plus x over 3 plus 1, which is 4, which gives you 150. To remove the 4, you multiply 4 here, you multiply 4, the 4 cancel out, so the 4 is not there anymore. Okay, if you take 150 times 4, you're supposed to get around 600, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, you're supposed to get 600. Now for you to get x, obviously, put the 480 to the other side, and you're supposed to get 120. So that is the cost of B per kg, 120 shillings. Question 7. Use binomial expression to determine the value of 2.15 to the power 5. Correct to 4 significant figures. Just 3 marks only. Now, write this like 2 ways. So instead of writing 2.15, let's write it as 2 plus 0.15 to the power 4. Okay. So basically, this is power 4. So in the bind, this is power 4. Sorry, it's power 5. This is power 4, and the Pascal triangle are the coefficients for power 5. By the way, you can use the calculator to find out the coefficients for power 5 using NCR. Okay, you just put 5, let's say 5C0 inside your calculator, 5C1, put 5C1, 5C2 until 5C2 until 5C5. Okay, so if you use your calculator or the log form, you'll find out that the coefficients for power 5 is going to be 1. That's the first one. Let me use the calculator. If you use 5 C0, that is 1. 5C1 is going to be 5. Okay. Then 5C2 is going to be 10. 5C3 is going to be 10 again. Then 5C4, 5, then 1. So those are the coefficients for power 5. So let's put it somewhere here. Now the next step, obviously, we're going to take is that there's the first number, there's the second number. The first number usually starts with power 5. The second number usually starts with power 0. Okay, but remember the coefficient for the first one is 1. The second one, remember the second coefficient is 5. But the second one for the 2 power 5, the power reduces. So it's going to be 2 to the power 4 times the power here for 0.15 increases. It's going to be power 1. Again, we have 10 times 2 to the power of 3 times 0.5 to the power of 2 plus another 10 times 2 to the power of 2 times 0.5 cubed. Okay, and then we have what do you have? We have 5 as well. Let me just write 5 here so that you can able to see. So the next coefficient is 5. Then we multiply by 2 to the power of 1 times 0.5 to the power of 4. And the last one is 1 times 2 to the power of 0 times 0.4 to the power of 5. Okay, so use your calculator. So 2 to the power of 5 times 0.15 to the power of 0 is just 2 to the power of 5, which is 32. Okay, then 5 times 2 to the power of 4 times 0.15 going to give you 12. And then 10 times 2 cubed times 0.5 squared is going to give you 20. Then we also have another 10, but this time times 2 squared times 10 times 2 squared times 0.5 cubed, which will give you 5. And then we also have another one, 5 times 2 times 0.5 to the power 4, which gives you 0.625. Then we have 2 to the power of 0, 0.5 times 2 to the power of 0 times 0.5 to the power of 5, which gives you 0.03125. 0.03125. Now add all of this together and see how much it gives us. 32 plus 12 plus 20 plus 5 plus 0.625 plus 0.03125, which gives us 69.66 to 4 significant figures. 69.66. I think I did a tiny mistake. This one's supposed to be 0.15. It's also 15. Let me just wrap this a bit. That's why I got wrong answers. Sorry for that. And also this one 0.15. A tiny mistake can cost you everything, just like you're seeing right now. So okay, if you take 10 times 2 cubed, okay, 2 cubed times 0.15 squared, it's going to give you 1.8. So the third one, this one's supposed to be 1.8. Yeah. For the second one, again, 10 times 2 squared times 0.15 cubed is going to be 0.135. So this is 0.135. So let's just wrap this. So this is 0.135. That's done. The other one is 5 times 2 times 0.15 to the power of 4, going to be 0.0050625. 0.0050625. And then last one, 0.15 to the power of 5. So it's going to give you 0.000. Okay, how many zeros are there? 0.759375. Now, if you add all of this together, it's going to give you 45.94 as your answer. Okay, question 8. A point Q divides line AB internally. So this is Q, divides AB internally in the ratio of 4:1, that is 4 over 5, 1 over 5. So given that A is 8, 3, and B is 3, negative 2. Now find OQ, that is the magnitude of vector OQ to 2 decimal places. Now OQ is just the same as Q. So whenever we are finding the magnitude, we just find the magnitude of Q. Now what is our Q? Our Q is basically, using the simplest way, you take this multiplied to this, and then that fraction multiplied to this fraction. So you take 4 over 5 times 3 negative 2 plus 1 over 5 times 8, 3. So 4 over 5 times 3 negative 2. So don't use that simple way. Don't you drop right over it. That's very wrong. So 4 over 5 times 3, it gives you 12 over 5. 4 over 5, that is this times this and this times this. So 4 over 5 times negative 2 is going to give you negative 8 over 5. Okay. So yeah, that way. And then 1 over 5 times 8 is going to give you 8 over 5. And 1 over 5 times 3 is going to give you 3 over 5. So let's add them up. Obviously, if you add these two up, 12 over 5 plus 8 over 5 gives you 20 over 5. And negative 8 plus 3 gives you negative 5 over 5. So 20 divided by 5 basically is going to give you 4. And negative 5 over 5 is going to give you negative 1. So the question is asking about the magnitude of Q. And how do you find the magnitude of Q? We know that formula, x squared plus y squared, square root it. So basically we're doing the same thing. So 4 squared plus minus 1 squared, then square root that one. It gives you 16 plus 1. 16 plus 1 is 17. So square root of 17 will give you how much? Square root 17 is going to give you 4.12 to 2 decimal place. 4.12 units. Okay, solve the equation 1 over log x is 3 plus a third equal to 2 over 3 log is 3x. Okay, now for such a question, solving it not that hard. So the first thing we need to do is to let log base 3x to be any letter. Let's say a. So 1 over log base 3x is going to be 1 over a plus a third, which is equal to 2/3 of a. Okay, so now let's remove the a's by multiplying a to the other side. So you're going to get 1 plus a third a, which is equal to 2/3 of a squared. The next step, obviously, bring this to the other side, also this to the other side. So we'll start with 2 over 3a squared minus a third a plus 1, which is equal to 0. Is it plus 1? No, it's supposed to be minus 1 as well. Okay, now the next step, to remove the 3, which is at the denominator. So 2 over 3a squared minus a third a minus 1 equal to 0. If you multiply by 3, multiply by 3, multiply by 3, you're going to get a squared minus a minus 3, which is equal to 0. Now, can we use a factorization method? So sum is -1, product is -3. This is -1. A product is 1 times -3, which is -3. So which two numbers, if I multiply, it's going to give you -3. If you add this, so the same two numbers is going to give you -1. Do you have such a number? -3 and 1? No. So this, I think, we're supposed to use quadratic formula then. A quadratic formula, you're going to use b squared. Okay, sorry, is going to use minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, minus b being, remember this is b, this is a, this is c. A is 1, b is -1, c is -3. Minus b is going to be minus -1, which is plus 1, plus or minus. B squared is going to be -1 squared minus 4 times 1 times our c, which is -3, divided by 2a, which is 2 times 1, which is just 2. -1 squared is going to be 1 minus 4 times 1 times -3. So let's see, 1 minus 4 times 1 times -3 is going to give you plus 13. So here we have 13. Again, I did something wrong once more. So let me just wrap this. Don't know why am I stuck with wrong things nowadays. Now this one was not supposed to be 1a squared, but it's supposed to be 2a squared, because 2 over 3 times 3, you just remain with 2a squared. So again, can we use factorization method? Let's see, sum. Our sum is -1. Our product is -6. So because 2 times -3 is -6. So therefore, two numbers that if you multiply gives you -6, and if you add those two numbers gives you -1, is -3 and 2. So 2a squared, the -1a becomes -3a plus 2a minus 3, which is equal to 0. The common factor for the first group is going to be a into bracket 2a minus 3. The second one is going to be plus 1 2a minus 3 equal to 0. If you bring them together, it's going to be a plus 1. Okay, it's going to be a plus 1 and 2a minus 3. Okay, so first a is going to be negative 1, because if you get a plus 1 to 0, you get a to be negative 1, and the other a is going to be positive 3 over 2. So if you want me to show you, I can show you. So we say 2a minus 3, which is equal to 0. Negative 3 peleka huku to give you 2a equal to 3. Okay, and if you have something like that, obviously if you divide by 2, a is going to be 3 over 2. So all in all, the second a is going to be positive 3 over 2. So a is equal to 3 over 2. Now we know that we said log is 3x equal to a, so the first a being negative 1. So that one is going to be, if you turn it into surd form, is going to be 3 to the power of negative 1, which is equal to x. 3 to the power of negative 1 is just 1 over 3. So that's the first x value. The second one, which is log base 3x, to be the other a being 3 over 2. Okay, so therefore it's going to be 3 to the power of 3 over 2, which is equal to x. If you insert the way it is inside your calculator, 3 to the power of 3 over 2 is going to give you a decimal, which is 5.1596. Okay, it's going to be 5.5196. So let me just write it here. 5. So the other x is going to be 5.5196. I mean decimal points? No. So let's say 5.196. So this is your answer. This is also your answer. We can also write 5.196 as 3 root 3. Whichever one. That still gives you the same answer. Okay.
Okay. Question 10. Determine the center and radius of a circle whose equation is a half x into bracket 4x minus 8 plus a quarter y into bracket 8y minus 12, which is equal to 24. Now for us to answer such a question, most probably this is very easy. We need to remove the denominators first. Okay, and you might be asking yourself, how are we going to remove it? Right, now we can multiply by 4 all of these numbers, and let's say multiply by 4 here, multiply by 4 here, and multiply by 4 here, and therefore 4 times a half gives you 2x into bracket 4x minus 8 plus y into bracket 8y minus 12, which is equal to 24 times 4, and 24 times 4 gives you 96. Okay, now open up the brackets. So 2x times 4x, 2x times negative 8. The first one gives you 8x squared minus 16 plus the same thing, y times 8y, and y times negative 12 is going to give you 8y squared minus 12y equal to 96. Okay, maybe divide. Can we really divide by that? Okay, let's divide by 8 all through. Divide by 8. Let me write it here. So if you divide by 8 all through, a gives you x squared minus 16 divided by 8, which is 2, plus, and by the way, I forgot something. Negative 8 times 2x is negative 16x. This is negative 2x. You divide by 8, this 8y squared divided by 8 gives you y squared minus 12 divided by 8, and 12 divided by 8 gives you 1.5, or 3 over 2 minus 3 over 2y, which is equal to 96. Now we don't have any number apart from 96, so let it remain there. Now for us to factorize this one, we need to factorize this one or introduce a constant so that it can become a perfect square. Also introduce a constant here. So for you to introduce a constant that is plus dash, and here is going to be y squared minus 3 over 2y plus another dash, which is equal to 96 plus the 2 dashes, in which we'll do it just right now. So for you to get that dash, we usually do b over 2 squared, and since there's no a, so it's going to be b over 2 squared equal to c. And you might be asking yourself, what is a, what is b? So a is basically the one behind x squared. This is your a, this is your b, and this is your c. And for us to get the c, we do b over 2 squared, b over 2 squared. So if I take b, which is negative 2 divided by 2 squared, and minus 3 over 2 divided by 2 squared, around here, negative 2 divided by 2 gives you negative 1. If you square it, it gives you negative 1. So this gives you negative 1. Negative 2, no, positive 1, sorry. Because if you square, negative gives you positive. Now, negative 3 over 2 divided by 2 gives you negative 3 over 4. And if you square negative 3 over 4, it gives you 9 over 16. Okay, gives you 9 over 16. But for now, let's say minus 3 over 4. Minus 3 over 4. But we know that the answer that we get here, which is plus 1, you'll add it onto the other side because it wasn't part of the equation. And then negative 3 over 4, when you square it, gives you 9 over 16. You add it also on the second equation. Now, if you factorize this, so square root of x squared and square root of 1 is going to give you x minus 1 squared. And if you factorize the other one, or which is part of y, ile ambayo ni y, itakuwa square root of y squared, this one, and square root of this one, which is going to be y. But you write negative kwa sababu the number that is at the middle of y squared and minus 3 over 4 squared is negative. The sign that is in the middle is negative. That's why we put negative. And y minus 3 over 4, obviously if you square root, the square gets out. Or if you square root 9 over 16, still gives you 3 over 4. So that's why they open up on the left side. So gives you something like this. And then 96 plus 1 plus 9 over 16 gives you 97 9 over 16, which is 1561 over 16. Okay, now we got this one. Now basically, you know, there is equation of a circle is given by x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equal to r squared. Now you might be asking yourself, what is your radius? Your r squared is this one, 1561 over 16. If you square root this, if you square root this, now square root of that gives you 9.87 or 9.877. Okay, so the radius is 9.877 units. Okay, the center is going to be the opposite of negative 1. Change the sign of negative 1 is going to give you positive 1, and change the sign for negative 3 over 4, which is going to give you 3 over 4 or 0.65. And by the way, I forgot something. I was supposed to take 96 divided by 8 as well. So I don't know why am I getting wrong. So this is supposed to be 12. So this one was supposed to be 12. Okay, 96 divided by 8 is 12. 12 plus 1 plus 9 over 16, which gives you 39 over 16 or 13.45625. or 217 over 16. So this one is supposed to be 217. Sorry for that. And then the square root of that gives you 3.683. So this is supposed to be 3.683 units. Come on. Now, question 11, triangle PQR, you said that PQ is equal to 6 centimeter, angle RPQ equal to 50 degrees, and angle PQR equal to 60 degrees. Calculate in terms of pi the area of a circle passing through the vertices PQ and R. Okay, triangle PQR is said that PQ equal to 6 centimeter, angle RPQ equal to 50, and angle PQR is equal to 60 degrees. Calculate in terms of pi the area of a circle passing through the vertices of PQ and R. So imagine this is our PQR. So here in P, here in Q, here in R. So let me not use this. Let's say this is PQR. Say our P here, Q and R. So PQ being 6 centimeters, RPQ being 50 degrees, and angle PQR, which is here, being 60 degrees. Okay, I've been asked to calculate in terms of pi the area of a circle passing through the vertices PQ and R. Now we can find for this angle, if this is 50 and this is 60, and angles in a triangle add up to 180, we just take 180 minus the two angles, which is 50 and 60, and we get 180 minus 110 to give you 70 degrees. Now this is 70 degrees. Now the reason why I found out this angle is because together with its distance, it will help us find the area of the circle. But now this is a triangle, and how is it connected to the circle itself? Now using sine formula, the sine formula helps you to find the radius, and that is a over sine a is equal to b over sine b, which is equal to c over sine c, which is equal to your 2 radius. For now, let me use this. I don't need to use the b or c. So a over sine a, and your a being this, and your capital A being this. So this is going to be 6 over sine 70, which is equal to 2r, and then 6 divided by sine 70, 6 divided by sine 70. So again, this is going to give you 2 radius that is going to be equal to 6.385. So this is equal to 6.385. Then divide by 2 to get the full radius. So the 2 cancels out, and divide by 2 gives you 3.193. So this gives you 3.193. Okay, centimeter if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Now this is your radius. Now with the help of the radius, you're going to search for the area of the circle, and the area of a circle is given by pi r squared. Okay, that's the general formula for the area of a circle. Okay, but remember that given your answer in terms of pi, so just write it as pi times your radius squared, 3.193 squared. So just square 3.193. 3.193 squared is going to give you 10.195 pi. So your final answer is going to be 10.195 pi centimeter square. Question 12. Solve the equation with solve the equation 1 plus tan squared x equal to 2. Tan x for zeros for x lying between 0 and 360. Okay, there are two methods which I'm going to show you, the easiest one and the longest one. Now that's why I need to do this. That is method 1, and then we're going to do method 2. for method 1, which is the simplest one, bring all of this together. So let's start with tan²x. Okay, bring the 2 tan x to the other side, and it's going to give you minus 2 tan x, then plus 1, which is equal to 0. Okay, now this looks like a quadratic equation, right? This looks like a quadratic equation where we say that the sum is going to be -2, the product is going to be, that is 1 times 1, which is 1. So which two numbers, if you add, gives you -2, if you multiply, gives you 1. And those two numbers include -1 and -1. If you multiply -1 with -1, it gives you 1. And if you add the 2, it gives you -2. So what does that mean? It means that the -2 tan x, you divide it into 2. So rather than writing tan²x minus 2 tan x plus 1 equal to 0, you're going to write tan²x minus 1 tan x, which is minus tan x, and minus 1 tan x, which is minus tan x, plus 1 equal to 0. So the 1 and the 1 is here, but you don't need to show it. Okay, now the second thing, you factorize. So you factorize the first group, which is this group, and the common factor is tan x. Into bracket, you get tan x still minus 1. And the second one is this one, -1 tan x minus 1 equal to 0. And as a result, you'll have tan x minus 1 and tan x minus 1 equal to 0. Okay, so that is method 1. So again, equate them. So you get tan x minus 1 equal to 0, which is tan x equal to 1. It's going to have the same thing. Even if you equate this also to 0, it's going to give you just one answer. So tan x equal to 1. So obviously, if you use the unit circle, gives you ASTC, and that is for tan to be positive is in the first quadrant or in the third quadrant, and the third quadrant is 180 plus theta. So let's search for theta first. So tan x equal to 1, so x is going to be tan inverse of 1, and tan inverse of 1 is going to be 45 degrees. Now, if your theta is 45, then basically the other angle is going to be 180 plus theta, which is 45, and therefore 180 plus 45 gives you 225. So that is your answer. That's the first answer. That's the first method. For method 2, which I'm just going to show you in a bit, I think I need to rub this first. For method 2, also rearrange it, which is going to be tan²x minus 2 tan x. Okay, that is plus 1 still equal to 0. Now this time let's make tan x to be any letter, let's say y. Okay, so tan²x is going to be y squared, because you're squaring tan x at all. So this is going to be y squared, this is going to be minus 2y plus 1 equal to 0. Let me write the 0. Well, that is something that you know. Now this one looks like a quadratic identity. That quadratic identity is this one, which is y minus 1 squared. Because if you open this up, it gives you y squared minus 2y plus 1. If you remember all the quadratic identities, then this is the case. So rather than using some product and etc., the easiest way, just know the quadratic identities, and that quadratic identity is this one, y minus 1 squared equal to 0. So now if I remove the square by square rooting this, you get y minus 1 equal to 0, and therefore y is equal to positive 1, because -1 migrates to the other side to give you plus 1. Tamam. But hiyo tumepata tu y, hatukupata x. So we'll say tan x equal to 1 using the same rule for this ASTC. Your theta is going to be here, and this here 180 plus theta, because tangent is only positive or always positive at A and T, or the first and the second quadrant. So tan x equal to 1, so x equal to tan inverse of 1, x is equal to either 45 degrees and again 225 degrees. That is your answer. Okay, question 13. A quantity m is partly constant and partly varies as n, and given that m equal to 11, when n equal to 6, and m equal to 32, when n equal to 20, find the percentage change in m if n changes from 6 to 8. Now, partly or partial variation is like the equation of a straight line, which is y equal to ax plus b. That is one part of partial variation. Okay, now if you get this statement where it says a quantity m is usually partly constant, that is it has its own constant, which is a, and partly varies as n. The n also has its own constant, which is b. Okay, so that's the general thing. Now if your m is equal to 11, your n is equal to 6. That is, if your m is 11, n will be 6. If your m is 32, then n is going to be 20. Okay, so let's use this information by writing two equations. Now m is equal to 11. You don't know your a, you don't know b, but we know n to be 6. So b times 6 is going to be 6b. Okay, and the other one is m is equal to 32. You don't know a, plus 20 b again. It's better to write the higher number up and the lower numbers down. So let's say this way. So let's write 32 equal to a plus 20b, and here we write we write 6b and 11 here. Okay, we just shifted it upwards. Now we can subtract. 32 minus 11 will give you 21. A minus a, 0. 20 minus 16 gives you 14b. Okay, am I correct? Sometimes I might be wrong, but for this I think I'm correct. So 21 equal to 14b, divide by 14, and therefore b is going to be, let's see, 21 divided by 14 is going to be 1.5. Now now let's take a plus 6b, because we need to find for a as well, equal to 11. We know our b, and our b is 1.5, so 6 times 1.5, 6 times 1.5 gives you 9. So this is 9, and therefore a is going to be, because if you take the 9 to the other side, it's going to be 11 minus 9, and a will be 2. So your equation is this way. So equation will be m equal to a, which is 2, plus b, which is 1.5n. Okay, now the question is asking find the percentage change in m if n changes from 6 to 8. Now what happens to m then? If it changes from 6 to 8, then what will it become? So it's going to be 2 plus 1.5 times 8 instead of 6. So m is going to be 2 plus 1.5 times 8 is going to give you 14. So this is m. This is your new m. But remember, your new m is 14, and you want to find percentage change, and therefore you're going to take the new one, which is 14, minus the original one, which is 32, because at n equal to 6, m is 32, right? No. when n is equal to 6, your m is 11. Sorry for that. So 14 minus 11 divided by the 11, which is the original, times 100. So 3 over 11 times 100, or 14 minus 11 divided by 11 times 100, it's going to give you 27.27%. Was it hard? Nope. Hopefully that is understandable. Now, just like sometimes I need to give students the ability to answer their questions. So for me, I can't do this. Reason one, I don't have the equipment. Okay, I'm searching for a software. So if you're a teacher, tell me of the software that I can use to solve such questions. That's the first thing. The earlier software I had is really tiresome, and I probably can't use that. So try your level best. Draw this and tell me on the comment section the answer. But most probably you'll get a loci. This is about loci. So loci, a semicircle, a triangle in that semicircle, and etc. Question 15. Two parallel chords of dimensions 15.6 and 13 centimeter are such that they are on opposite sides of the center or of a circle and a radius 12 centimeter. Calculate the perpendicular distance between the two chords correct to two decimal places. Now this is your circle, and these are your two chords. They are parallel to each other. Okay, they're opposite the center of the circle, in which this is your center of circle. Let's say this is 15.6 and this is 13 centimeter. So let's imagine this to be your radius, and your radius is 12 centimeter, and obviously this also is your radius, and this is 12 centimeter. And the question is asking you to find the perpendicular distance between the two chords, that is from here to here. Okay, now if you look at this is a right angle triangle, this is also a right angle triangle. So 15.6 is from here to here, right? So if you have it, you're going to get the distance from here to here. So if I take 15.6 divided by 2, then I'll get 7.8. So this is 7.8 centimeter. And do the same thing with the one which is down. 13 divided by 2 gives you 6.5. So this is 6.5 centimeters. So now you have a triangle like this, okay, where this is 12 centimeter. Let me just write this down. Where this is 12 centimeter and this is 7.8 centimeter, and this is your right angle triangle. It's a very small triangle. Let me make it bigger so that you can able to see. So it's a triangle like this, where this is 7.8. Okay, this is 7.8, and this is 12 centimeter. Now for me to get the distance from here to here, what I normally will do is use Pythagoras theorem. So you take c squared minus b squared equal to a squared. So for you to get a, kupata a, sasa itabidi tu ufanye square root ya hii. Sawa? So utachukua tu c yako ni hii ni b yako. So 12 squared minus 7.8 squared, then square root that gives you a. So 12 squared minus 7.8 squared, I square root that gives me 9.119 for significant fees. So gives me 9.119 centimeter. Now for the other one as well, you have something like this. Again, just showing you how it works. Now this is 6.5 centimeter, and obviously this is 12 centimeter. So use the same logic. I just draw it oppositely, but it's just the same thing. So you get 12 squared minus 6.5 squared using the same thing. So 12 squared minus 6.5 squared, square root that, and you get 10.09. 2.9 centimeter. That is your B, right? That is that's the height. Okay, that's the height of this 10.09, and that's the height of this 9.119. Now for you to get the height from here to here, you need to add those two. So taking 9.119 plus 10.09 is going to give you 19.21. Okay, to two decimal places, 19.21 centimeter. I think that is enough. Now, the last question of section A, the table below shows the variation of depth of water, which is d meters, in a river with time t hours after heavy downpour. So we have time t hours 0, 0.5, 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, and 2.5. The depth is as shown as below: 5.0, 2.8, 2.1, 1.8, 1.6, and 1.5. On the grid provided, draw the graph of variation of depth of water against time. 2 marks. Why is it 2 marks? Now, hopefully, so let me just draw a bit here. I'm not using as ruler to say so, and a bit here. So I need to at least this one. I think that is enough. If I'm not wrong, that is enough. So the x-axis is the time t hours. Okay, and then we have the depth, which is represented by the y-axis, depth in meters. Okay, now if you look at it, the 0 then to 2.5. So most probably let's start 0 here, then skip. For the other one, does it start from 0? No. If it doesn't start from, yeah, I think you can start from 0 by now. 0, then skip, let's say 1.0, then 2.0, and 3.0. I think that is enough. Is it enough? Yeah. But though, does it state any scale? No. Doesn't state any scale so far. But that is enough. That is just enough. But if I want to make it bigger, then I can make it bigger. So let's make it bigger. So let's say this is 0.5, this is 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, and 3.0. So we made it bigger. So for the depth one, it's going to be 5.0, 2.8, 2.1. So most probably, let's also make this. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Okay, and lastly 5. That's enough. So let's start. For the first one, 0 and 5.0. 0 and 5.0. Remember, write down the y-axis, use a ruler, just use my bare hands for now. And this is the x-axis, and show what does that represent. Start. This one 0 and 5.0. Your x is 0, your y is 5.0, which is this one. Then we have 0.5 and 2.8. 0.5 and 2.8, 0.5 here, 2.8 being this one. And then we have 1.0 and 2.1, 1.0 and 2.1 being here. And 1.5, 1.8, 1.5, and 1.8, which is here. Then we have 2.0, 1.6, 2.0, 1.6, and 2.5, 1.5, 2.5, and 1.5, which is here. And I think that is that. Now, okay, depth of water against time. Okay, that is that. Now, I think we need to draw So we draw this. Most probably mine is not that good, but let's just draw it for now. So we draw this way, okay, but I think even my graph is still not correct. Let me draw it carefully. It's touching this, and this way. Okay, but make sure whenever you draw, you just be careful when drawing. So it's supposed to be something like this. Now, question is asking you use the graph to estimate the rate of decrease in depth between t equal to 0.5 hours and t equal to 2.5 hours. Okay, the rate of decrease between t equal to 0.5 hours and between t equal to 0.5 hours and t equal to 2.5 hours. And that is, I think we need to find the gradient. So t equal to 0.5 hours, 0.5, your point is supposed to be, so 0.5, your y is going to be 2.8. So 0.5, 2.8. And at 2.5, which is this one, your y is going to be 1.5. Okay, so 2.5, your y is going to be 1.5. Now let's find the rate, and the rate is given by change in y over change in x. And that is, if this is x, this is y, this is x2, y2, and this is x1, y1. Change in y is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So 2.8 minus 1.5 divided by 0.5 minus 2.5. So let's see. 2.8 minus 1.5 gives you 1.3, and 0.5 minus 2.5 gives you negative 2. If I take 1.3 divided by the answer, gives you negative 0.65. Okay, that is the rate. If you leave it like this, I think you're correct. Or you can write maybe, how do I say it? You can write maybe meters per hour, but I prefer this way. Come on. So yeah, now let's go to section B. Now question 17, that is section B. Now we're starting. Now you answer all 5 questions from the section in the spaces provided. Now question 17 says a piece of wire which is 38 meters long is cut into 2 parts. The first part is bent to form a square, while the second part is bent to form 4 sides of a rectangle. Now the length of the rectangle is 6 centimeter and its breadth is x centimeters. Question A, express the area of the square in terms of x. Okay, so this being a rectangle, obviously if they told you the length is 6 centimeter and the width is x centimeter, so therefore if you calculate the perimeter of the whole thing, it's going to give you the length, okay, that was cut. So the perimeter of the rectangle is 2 into bracket length plus width. So 2 times length plus width, which is 6 plus x, okay, which will give you 2 times 6, 12, and 2 times x, 2x. Tamam. Now, what happens here is that once you find out the perimeter of the rectangles, it helps you also to find out the perimeter of the square. Okay, but let's find out the perimeter of the square. And how do you find it? You take the total piece of wire. Okay, so let's say perimeter of square. So you take the total piece of wire, which is 38, minus 12 plus 2x. We subtract it from the perimeter of the rectangle. So 38 minus 12 minus 2x is going to give us 38 minus 12 to be 26 minus 2x. Okay, that's the perimeter of the square. That's one thing. And now we are asked to find the area of the square, not the perimeter of the square. So finding the area of the square, you need to find the length of square. Okay, the length of square will be equal to 26 minus 2x divided by 4 sides, because all the sides in the square is equal. So 26 divided by 4, which is 6.5, or let's say 13 over 2, minus 2x divided by 4, which gives you minus x over 2 as well. Now that's the length of the square. So for you to get the area of the square is side times side, and therefore the side that we have, which is 13 over 2 minus x over 2, okay, let me write it carefully, which is x over 2, you multiply by the same side, 13 over 2 minus x over 2, okay, and let's go step by step. So 13 over 2 times this 13 over 2 times 13 over 2 is going to give you 42 or 1 over 4, or let's say 169 over 4. And 13 over 2 times negative x over 2, 13 over 2 times, which is just the same, times, let's say, negative 1 over 2, it's going to give you negative 3.25, or negative 13 over 4x, okay? Negative x over 2 times 13 over 2, which is also negative 13 over 4x, and negative x over 2 times negative x over 2, which is negative a half x, times negative a half x, is going to give you 0.25, which is a quarter. So it's going to give you a quarter x squared, or let's say x squared over 4. So yeah, and the final answer, minus 13 over 4 minus 13 over 4 will be 9. So that is, these are like terms, minus 13 over 4x minus 13 over 4x. Okay, that gives you minus 13 over 2. So final answer will be x squared over 4 minus 13 over 2x plus 169 over 4. So that is your answer. Now question B, if the sum of the areas of the square and rectangle is 8 centimeter square, show that A is this. Okay, now the area of the rectangle, remember we say the length was 6 and the width was x, so 6 times x gives you 6x centimeter square, and the area of the square, which I'll show it to you just a bit, which is this, remember, is going to be x squared over 4 minus 13 over 2x plus 169 over 4. Now this one, we'll add it. So we'll add A1, which is the area for the rectangle, plus A2, the area for the square, to give you the A centimeter. Okay, now let's add it up. So we'll take 6x plus area of a square, which is x squared over 4 minus 13 over 2x plus 169 over 4. Now collect like terms, so we'll collect only this and this. Let's start with x squared over 4, okay, minus 13 over 2 plus 6, minus 13 over 2 plus 6 gives you minus a half x plus 169 over 4. Have we shown it? Yes, we've shown it. So this is your answer. Okay, now let's finish up with C. Now given that A is equal to 46 square meters, given that A equal to 46 square meters, find the value of x, hence determine the perimeter of the rectangle that was formed. Okay, now A, which was this one, x squared minus a half x plus 169 over 4 is equal to 46. Now let's simplify this. And how do you simplify? By multiplying by 4. To remove the denominator 4, multiplying by 4, multiplying by 4, multiplying by 4, and it gives you 4x squared minus 2x plus 169, okay, equal to 46 times 4. 6 times 4 gives you 184. Now bring the 184 to the other side and you get 4x squared minus 2x plus 169 minus 184 equal to 0. Okay, 169 minus 84, 184 gives you negative 15. So this is negative 15. Sorry, this is negative 15, the whole thing. That is, after subtracting, you get negative 15. Okay, equal to 0. Now, after doing that, can we simplify further? It's going to be difficult. Now here, we can use the sum product. Okay, I did some mistake. This one was supposed to be over 4 because of this. Now, if it's over 4, then it changes everything. So if you times by 4 all out, so this is going to be x squared. So yeah, this is x squared, not. The reason why it's x squared, because if you multiply by 4, because this is supposed to be x squared over 4. So if you multiply by 4, the 4 cancels out. So you remain with x squared minus 2x. At the end of the day, you'll have something like this. Now your sum is negative 2 and your product is negative 15. Okay, which are the two numbers? The two numbers that if you add, let me just draw a line here because of the space. The two numbers that if you add gives you negative 2. If you multiply the same two numbers, it gives you negative 15. So which are those two numbers? Is it negative 5 and 3? Yes. So it's negative 5 and 3. How different? We have negative 15 and 1, we have 15, negative 1. But I think the biggest one is negative 5 and 3. If you add them, gives you negative 2. And if you multiply, gives you negative 15. So those are your two. Since your x squared, coefficient for x squared is 1. You don't need to do the whole process. And you know the factors. So it's going to be x minus 5, x plus 3 equal to 0. So at the end of the day, x minus 5 equal to 0. X is going to be 5. Or x plus 3 equal to 0. X is going to be negative 3. But now that is part of the answer, but that's not the answer. You've been told to determine the perimeter of the rectangle. Now the rectangle was 6 by x. So now we know x. But remember, x cannot be negative 3 because we don't have distances that are negative. So we ignore this one. So this is not part of the answer. So just ignore this. And you just have one answer for x. Now, since x is 5 now, so 6 times 5, the area. Is this the area? No. In total, the perimeter. And the perimeter is 2 length plus width. So it's 2 times 6 plus 5, which is 11. 2 times 11 gives you 22 meters. Question 18. The table below shows the marks out of 50 scored by 80 students in a given examination. Now, good luck. You have these marks, which you see, and don't have this thing. We need to find out. Now, question A says determine the value of m and state the model class. Okay, you need to state the model class itself. So, how do you find first the value of m? The value of m is usually when you add the whole of these things. That is, let's add up to the frequency of all of these guys. So a plus 11 plus m plus 16 plus 19 plus 9 plus 4 gives you now 80. Okay, now 8 plus 11 plus that, all of those things. So let's add it up. 8 plus 11 plus 16 plus 19 plus I'm just adding the like terms for now. Plus 9 plus 4 gives you 67. And coincidentally, m plus 67 equal to 80. So if this goes to the other side, minus 67, m is equal to 80 minus 67, which is m to be 13. Okay, but now m is 13, but that's not the modal frequency, nor does it have the modal class. The one that has the modal class is the one with the highest frequency. So the class with the highest frequency, and the one with the highest frequency is this one, which is so this 35 to 39. That is your modal class. So yeah, very easy. Now let's go here. Using 27 as a working mean, that is your assumed mean to be 27. Find the mean mark. So the number of marks that is there, let me just write them down. Okay, done. So now we have marks, we have frequency. Now we just need to add other things. That is the midpoint, okay, which is x. There's d, which is x minus a. There's d squared, okay. There's fd, and there's fd squared, okay. So your midpoint is, if you take 15 plus 19 divided by 2, which gives you 34. Divided by 2 is going to be 17. So this is 17. Obviously 2024 midpoint is 22. This is 27. This is 32, 37, 42, and 47. Okay, then we have d equal to x minus a. That is x minus your assuming. So x being the midpoint, 17 minus 27 gives you negative 10. Yeah, it's negative 10. Yeah, it's negative 10. So 22 minus 27 gives you negative 5. 27 minus 27 is 0. 32 minus 27 gives you positive 5. 37 minus 27 is 10. 42 minus 27, again, how much does it give me? 15. It gives me 15. Okay. Yeah, it gives me 15. And then 47 minus 27 obviously is 20. Okay, then d squared. So minus 10, if you square negative with it, is going to give you 100. Minus 5 squared gives you 25. 0 squared 0, 25. 5 squared 100. 15 squared is going to give you 225. And 20 squared is going to give you 400. Okay, now let's do fd. Okay, let's do fd. That is f times your d. So 8 times negative 10, negative 80. 11 times negative 5, negative 55. We have 13 times 0, 0. 16 times 5 is going to be 80. We have 19 times 10, 190. 9 times 15 is going to give you 135. And 4 times 20 gives you 80. So fd. So d squared times f. So 8 times 100 is going to give you 800. 25 times 11 is going to give you 275. 0 times f, which is 0. 16 times d squared is 25 times 16, 400. Okay, that is 4 numbers if I'm not wrong. Yeah, then we have 19 times d squared, 19 times 100, 1900. And 9 times 225 is going to give you 2025. And 4 times 400 going to give you 1600. So be very careful. Now let's just scroll a bit to find out the answers. Now for our most important thing is finding the value or the sum of f. Sum of f we've already been told is 80, but just confirm 8 plus 11 plus 13 plus 16 plus 19 plus 9 plus 4, 80. So you don't need to add the midpoints or d squared, but add fd. So sum of fd. So let's add them up. Negative 80 minus 55 plus 80 plus 190 plus 135 plus 80. And it gives you 350. And then add up fd squared. So 800 plus 275 plus 400 plus 1900 plus 2025 plus 1600. And it's going to give you 7000. So yeah, no, it's hard. Nope. So, but our question was not that, about drawing. So our question was to find the mean mark. Okay, and the mean mark here is therefore given as mean. Mean is given by this formula, sum of fd over sum of f plus assumed mean. Now, sum of fd is 350 divided by sum of f, which is 80, plus our assumed mean, which was 27. Now, let's add them up. So 350 divided by 80 plus 27, it gives you 31.375. Is it in terms of meters? Just marks. Okay. Going to the last question, which is Roman 2. Okay. Now, the other question is saying to find the standard deviation, and the formula for standard deviation is sum of fd squared divided by sum of f minus sum of fd divided by sum of f, square this, and then square root it. Okay, so sum of fd squared gave us 7000 divided by sum of f, which gave us 80 obviously, minus sum of fd, which is 350, divided by sum of f, which is again 80, but square the whole thing, then find the square root. So 7000 divided by 80, this gives you 87.5, minus 350 divided by 80, square that, gives you 19.14, blah blah blah, 0625. If you want to write everything, write it down. So, and this 87 minus 87.5 minus that 19 gives you 68.359375. Just square root the whole thing, and it gives you 8.268. 8.268. Okay. Is there a thingy? There's nothing that says to convert it to 2 decimal places or what. That is your answer. Okay, that is your answer. Always make sure it's in 4 significant figure. Now let's go to the other question. Okay, question 19. The sum of 3 consecutive terms of a GP is 42. The numbers are also the first, fourth, and 10th terms of an AP. And question A is asking you to find the first and common ratio of the GP. Now we know this is the first 2 terms, A, the second term being A times R, because remember nth term of GP is usually AR power n minus 1. So second term is AR, third term is going to be 3 minus 1, which is 2, AR squared. But remember that those numbers are also the first, fourth, and 10th terms. Okay, so this one is the fourth, that is the fourth term, that is A plus 3D. Remember that nth term of an AP is given by A plus n minus 1 times D. So let's say if your let me write it here, your fourth term is going to be A plus 4 minus 1 times D, which is A plus 3D. Okay. Your fifth term, your fourth, that's the numbers are also the first, or fourth and 10th term. So the first is basically this one is the first in an AP, and the GP is also the first, and then AP is A. The fourth term, this is the fourth term, which is A plus 3D, and this one is the 10th term, and the 10th term is basically A plus 10 minus 1 times D, which is A plus 9D. Okay, A plus 9D. So yeah, it's not that hard. So this is A plus 9D. Now we know our ratio. Now a ratio is given by when you take the second term divide by the first term. So, or the third term divide by the second term. That's how you get a common ratio. So it's the same thing when you take this divide by this, which is A plus 3D divide by A to give you A plus 9D divide by A plus 3D. Okay. Now what we do here, what do? We cross multiply. So if you cross multiply this one with this, you get A plus 3D times A plus 3D, which is A plus 3D squared, basically, is equal to also this multiplied to this one, which is A into bracket A plus 9D. But let me just write this straight line because we're going to use it. Okay. Let me write it till here. So now let's open this up. So A times A squared, A times 3D, 3AD, 3D times A, 3AD, 3D times 3D gives you 9D squared, and therefore A times A squared, A times 9D gives you 9AD. Okay, now let's remove those like terms. A squared cancels with A squared, and you remain with 3AD plus 3AD, which is 6AD plus 9D squared equal to 9AD. Okay, now let's migrate this one to the left side, to the right side of the equation. So it's going to be 9D squared equal to 9AD minus 6AD, which is going to give you 3AD. So this is going to be 3AD. Now the next step, that is why I need to go up, that is 9D squared. Remember, 9D squared is equal to 3AD. Divide by D is going to give you 9D to be 3A. Make maybe D to be the subject. So divide by, or let's make A to be the subject. It's much easier. So divide by 3, and therefore 3D is equal to A, or A is equal to 3D. Now let's still continue to read the question. You've been told that the first 3 consecutive terms of a GP is 42. Okay, that is the first 3 consecutive, which was A, the first term, and A plus 3D, which was the fourth term but second term in a GP. And if you add to also the 10th term of an AP but third term in a GP, which is A plus 9D, if you add those 3 together, it's going to give you 42. Collect like terms. A plus A gives you 3A. 3D plus 9D gives you 12D, which is 42. But remember, we said A to be 3D. So where there's A, you replace with 3D plus 12D equal to 42. 3D times 3, 9D plus 12D equal to 42. And 9D plus 12D gives you 21D. Is it? Then divide by 21, divide by 21, and D is going to be 2. What about A? A is going to be how much? A is 3D, and 3 times 2 is going to give you 6. So our A is basically 6. But have we been asked about A or D? No, we've been asked about the first and the common ratio. Now, the first is A. What about the common ratio? For us to get the common ratio, it's very simple. we say that a plus td divided by a gives you the common ratio. Now let me just put this, and let me use another color. So we say a plus 3d divided by a is your common ratio. So a being 6 plus 3 times your d being 2 divided by 6 gives you r. And 6 plus 3 times 2, which is 6. And 6 plus 6 gives you 12. 12 divided by 6 gives you 2. So r is 2. So, okay, the third term of the GP. Now we know that nth term is given by, for GP is given by AR power n minus 1. So we know our A, we also know our R. So if it is the third term, so it's going to be AR power 3 minus 1, which is AR squared. So we know A to be 6, and R squared, which is R2 squared, is going to give you 6 times 4, which is 24. Okay, so that's done for question B. Now question C, the least number of terms of the GB that will give a sum greater than 550. Okay, so we need to know that. Now the sum, well, since r is greater than 1, we know r is 2, so it's greater than 1. Sum of the GP is given by this formula, AR power n minus 1 over r minus 1. A, we already know A, and that is 6. We already know R is 2 to the power of n minus 1 over 2 minus 1 to give you something greater than 550. So 2 minus 1, we know that is going to be 1. And we need to remove the 6 as well. Divide by 6, divide by 6. The 6 cancels out. So 550 divided by 6, it gives you 91 2 over 3. Okay, this gives you 91 2 over 3. Now let's put the negative 1 to the other side. It's going to be 2 power n, which is greater than 92, because it's going to be plus 1, so you're adding, so it's going to be 92 2 over 3. So let me just rectify on this, which gives you this. Now we have power n, so we introduce logs. So introduce log, you also introduce it on the right hand side, which is log 92 2 over 3. Okay, but we know something as well. Now for logs, if you introduce logs, the power just goes behind the log to give you n log x. So the same thing happens to this thing, n log 2 greater than log 92 2 over 3. To get n now, which is very, very easy, you divide by log 2, you divide by log 2, and n is going to be greater than log 92 2 over 3, 92 2 over 3, divide by log 2. It's going to give you n to be greater than 6.5339 or 34, whichever one. And now the question is asking you the least number of terms. Okay, you look at it carefully, the least number of terms. So your n is most probably going to be 7. That's the least number of terms. The number that is after 6.5 is 7, and is usually an integer, is that one. Now let's go to the other question. Question 20. A bag contains 8 blue marbles, 3 green marbles, and some red marbles. Marbles are similar except for the color. Okay, 2 marbles are picked from the bag, one after the other, and without replacement. The probability that the 2 marbles picked are both blue is 7 over 30. Calculate the number of red marbles in the bag. Wacha nizungumza Kiswahili kidogo ndo kila mtu aelewe. Sawa. So naona probability mpaka ubadilishe lugha ndo mtu ataelewa. Okay, the number of red marbles. Now the total marbles in the bag. We need to find total marbles. Marbles zote, gololi zote ni ngapi? Sio? So blue ni 8, green ni 3, zile za red hujui. So the total marbles are going to be a plus 3, which is 11 plus x. Okay, so those are the total marbles. So now you've been told to the probability that the two marbles picked are both blue. So there's a probability of you picking a blue and a blue, which is going to be, because remember blue is supposed to be 8. So there's a probability of you picking the first blue marble to be 8 over 11 plus x times. Now the second time you pick, the number of blue marbles will reduce, so and therefore it's going to be 7, and the number of total marbles will also be reduced. Instead of 11, you subtract 1, you get 10 plus x, and that gives you now equals to 7 over 30. Okay, now let's multiply. 8 times 7 gives you, and let's use this side also, 8 times 7 gives you 56 over 11 plus x times 10 plus x. Okay, so 11 times 10 gives you 110. 11 times x gives you 11x. Sorry, 11x. X times 10x gives you 10x, and x times x gives you x squared. So 11x plus 10x gives you 21x. So this gives you 21x, and this gives you plus x squared, which is equal to 7 over 30. So let's multiply, cross multiply. So 7 gets multiplied to x squared plus 21x plus 110, and 56 is going to get multiplied to 30. Okay, so 56 times 30 gives you 1680, and this one is going to be 7x squared. Let me draw this off, and this way this is going to be 7x squared. 7 times 21, 147x equal to 110 times 7, which is 770, which is equal to 56 times 3. We said it's going to be 1680. Okay, now put this to the other side. So we're going to subtract 770 with 1680, and it gives you negative 910 equal to 0. So this is 7x squared plus 147x minus 910. Can 147 be simplified with 7? If you divide by 7, divide by 7, divide by 7, going to give you x squared plus 21 minus 910 divided by 7 is going to be minus 130 equal to 0. Now your sum is 21, your product is negative 130. So which two numbers, if I add, gives me, sum is 21, sorry, if I add gives me 21, if I multiply this, so the same two numbers gives me negative 130. Okay, those two numbers will be, if I'm not wrong, it's going to be 26 and 5. So it's going to be 26, negative 5. Okay, which eventually will be something like this. It's going to be x plus 26 and x minus 5. So x plus 26, x minus 5 equal to 0. So the first one is x to be negative 26, and the other one is x equal to 5. Okay, but now it can be negative. So at the end of the day, final answer will just be positive 5, and that is your answer. The number of red marbles are 5. Now I've drawn question B, use a tree diagram to reveal the above information, which I've drawn it, but I didn't state the probability of each. So we have BGR, and the BGR gets branched again. So the number of blue, or the total marbles, will be is going to be 11 plus x. Remember, the total we represented to be 11 plus x, so it's going to be 11 plus 5, which is 16. Okay, so this is going to be this way. So blue marbles was 8, red was 5, so obviously the green marbles will be 3. If you want to confirm, yes. So this is going to be 8 over 16, 3 over 16, 5 over 16. Now the blue once it branches to another blue, then it's going to be 7 because you got 1 before, so it's going to be 7 over 15. Every one of this is going to be over 15 in the second branch. So if it is 3, so this green is going to be 3 over 15, doesn't change. Also the red one's still going to be 5 over 15. The only thing changes is the denominator. Then we have green and we have green. So this one is going to be 2 out of 15. And the blue ones will just be 8 out of 15, and the red ones will be 5 out of 15. Then we have a red, and there's another red, so it's going to change 4 over 15. The blue ones was 8, so it's just still going to be 8 over 15. And the green ones was 3, so it's going to be 3 out of 15. So that's our tree diagram. So it's not that good, but bear with me. Now the question, the other question, which is this question C, using the tree diagram in B above, find the probability that the two marbles picked are of the same color. Okay, so that the same color, that is, it can be B probability of that is blue, can be blue and blue, or can be green and green, or it can be red and red. So if it's blue and blue, how much is it going to be? Blue and blue, which is this and this, 8 over 15 times 7 over 15, 8 over 16 times 7 over 15, plus, if it's odd, then it's usually plus, green and green, which is 3 over 16 times 2 over 15. So 3 over 16 times 2 over 15, plus red and red, 5 over 16 times 4 over 15. Okay, now let's find out. 8 over 16 times 7 over 15 gives you 7 over 30, plus 3 over 16 times 2 over 15 gives you 1 over 40, and 5 over 16 times 4 over 15 gives you 1 over 12. Add those 3 up, 7 over 30 plus 1 over 40 plus 1 over 12, it gives you 41 over 120. Okay, 41 out of 120. Let me just write this, 41 out of 120. Roman 2, the probability that at least a red marble is picked. So it's going to be a lot of probabilities, but bear with me. You'll have this one. You'll have B and R. Okay, you're going to have B and R. There's a probability that you have B and R. Okay, or you're going to have probability of green and R as well. And there's also the probability of having red and red. Okay, there's also probability of having first to be red, then blue, then we have first to be red, then green. All of those are usually calculated. So B and R, which is 8 over 16 times 5 over 15. Okay, 8 over 16 times 5 over 15 plus green and red, that is 3 over 16 times 5 over 15. Green and red, 3 over 16 times 5 over 15 plus red and red, that is going to be 5 over 16 times 4 over 15. Okay, and then we have red and blue. Red and blue, this is 5 over 16 times 8 over 15 times 8 over 15, and plus red and green, which is 5 over 16 times 3 over 15. 5 over 16 times 3 over 15. Now let's find out all of this. 8/16 times 5/15 gives you 1/6 plus 3/16 times 5/15 gives you 1/16. Okay, 5/16 times 4/15 gives you 1/12. 5/16 times 8/15 gives you 1/6. And 5/16 times 3/15 gives you 1/16. Now add all of this together. So 1/6 plus 1/16 plus 1/12 plus 1/6 plus 1/16, and it's going to give you the last answer to be 13/24. So yes, that is correct. Come on. Okay, question 23, the last question. 23. The table below shows monthly income tax for a certain year. So you have a monthly income of this nature that you're seeing here. Everything past 24,000 paka balance, yeah, 30%. Now, in a certain month that year, Mr. Campbell's taxable income in the fifth band was 25,580. So it means that the fifth band here, the balance, yani may exceed have a taxable income of 25,580. So Mr. Campbell earnings include house allowance of 18,000, transport allowance of 6,000, and a non-taxable risk allowance of 4,000. Now we need to find first the taxable income, so that it helps us to find the basic salary. Now we know that taxable income. Let's search for the taxable income first. Now the taxable income, using the table there, you'll take 50,400 because remember this was taxed, and then add to the one in the fifth band, which is 25,580. And it's going to give you 50,420 plus 25,580, which is 76,000. This one was the one which was taxed. Now, we weren't asked about the taxable income, so tunauliza basic salary. Now, what we know our basic salary is basically basic salary is equal to your taxable income, okay, minus your all allowances. That is allowance zako zote subtract na hiyo kutoka from the taxable income. So your taxable income is 76,000 minus the allowances. Remember, you include only the allowances which were taxed, and that is 18,000 and the 6,000. Exclude this because it's non-taxable. It hasn't been taxed. So haitakuwa kwenye taxable income yenyewe. So minus 18,000 and to bracket minus 18,000 plus 6,000. Okay. Now how much will that give us? 18,000 plus 6,000 first, and then 76,000 minus the answer, which is 24,000. It should give us 52,000. So first add them up and then subtract it from 76,000. That is 52,000 Kenya shillings. Come on. Now for Roman 2, you've been told his payee, if he's entitled to a personal relief of 2,400 shillings per month. So we calculate payee in terms of slabs. That is, so payee, that is pay as you earn, that is per month. And this whole thing is monthly, so you don't have a problem. And you don't need to change this ones into months because it's already been given in terms of monthly income. So let's start. We have 5 slabs. Okay, we have 5 slabs. So for the first slab, you'll be charged. There will be a tax, a different tax. That is for the first 24,000 is taxed at 10%. So 24,000 times 10%, which will give you 2,400 Kenya shillings. Okay, then let's go to the second slab. And the second slab supposed to be how much? 32,333 minus 24,000. 32,333 minus 24,000. Okay, times the percentage rate is supposed to be 15%, times 15%. But first, when you subtract, we need to find the taxable income in that second slab. 2,333 minus 24,000, which gives us 8,333. Okay, so basically this is 8,333 times 15%, which gives us 1,249.95. Now let's go to the third slab. And the third slab basically also doing the same. We begin with the second, then go to the third slab, which is this minus this once again. So 41,410. 41,410 minus, okay, 41,410 minus the one above. That is 32,333. Times the percentage rate, which I don't know, I think 20%. So times 20 over 100. Okay, now if you subtract that, 41,410 minus 32,333 gives us 9,077. Okay, so this is 9,077 times 20%, which gives us 1,815.40. Now let's go to the fourth slab. The fourth slab, so done with this. The fourth slab, 50,420 minus 41,410. 50,420. 50,420 minus 41,410. Times it obviously by 25%, if I'm not wrong. Is it true? Yes. So subtract this two. 50,420 minus 41,410, going to give you 9,010. 9,010. So this gives us 9,010 times 25%. Times 25%. Going to give us 2,252.50. The last slab, which is the fifth slab, we've been given the amount in the fifth slab, that is 25,580. We've been told that the taxable income in the fifth slab is 25,580, obviously times 30%. And how much will it give us? So 25,580 times 30% is going to be 7,674. Now add all of them up. This plus this plus this plus this plus this. If you add them all up, you're going to get, which I'm confirming just right now, 0.40 plus 2,252.5 plus 7,674 is going to give you 15,391.85. So that is your gross tax. But basically, your net tax, that which is your payee, you subtract with the relief, personal relief of 2,400. So minus 2,400. So, and it's going to give you 12,991.85 Kenyan shillings. So that is your net tax. Remember, your gross tax will be the summation of all these taxes in different slabs that is 15,391.85. Your net tax ni baada usha subtract na ile relief. This is your net tax, 12,991.85. Now, question B. Mr. Kembo had the following statutory, deductions: determine NSSF, that is 2160, SHIF contribution 2.75% of gross pay, housing levy 1.5% of gross pay, determine Kembo's net pay. Now, what is our gross pay? Okay, our gross pay basically is when you take, we found out 76,000 if you remember. So remember our taxable income was 50,420 plus 25,580, which is 76,000. This was the income that was charged. But the gross pay itself is going to be 76,000, the one that was taxed, plus the 4,000 which was in tax. Remember there was an allowance which was non-taxable. So that is, you also include the 4,000. So your gross pay will be 76,000 plus 4,000 to give you 80,000. Now let's find our total deductions first. Our total deductions first will be the payee, okay, deduction plus NSSF plus SHIF plus the housing levy. Okay. Now the payee you already found out, which is this 12,991.85 plus the NSSF, which is 2.75%, 2.75% of gross pay, which is 80,000, plus the 1.5% of gross pay, which is also 80,000, 1.5% of that, plus the levy. That's the levy, sorry. That's the NSSF. No, I didn't include the NSSF. This one is the SHIF, and this is the levy. The NSSF is 2160, which I'm including it right now. So this is the NSSF. Okay, thank you. Now add all those up. So if you take 2.75 over 100 times 80,000, it's going to give you 2,200. So basically this is 2,200. 2,200. Okay, take 1.5% times 80,000. It's going to give you 1,200. This is 1,200. And if you check, and obviously that's enough, and then you add to 2160 as well. So our total deductions will be 12,991.85 plus 2,200 plus 1,200, 2160, which could give you a total deduction of 18,551.85 Kenya shillings. That is the total deduction. But our net pay is basically our gross pay minus total deductions. Okay, so if you see our gross pay is 80,000 minus the total deduction of 18,551.85, and your final answer 80,000 minus 18,551.85 is going to give you 61,448.15, and that is your net pay. Okay, so was it that hard? Nope. So again, don't forget to subscribe. This is shillings, sorry for that. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and in case I did any mistake, please just correct me. I'm also a student in one way or the other, so whatever mistakes I do, correct me through the comment section. In case you have any inquiries or something, please, I'm a human being still, just tell me. whichever thing I think is best for me to touch on, or which topics. You are the ones to guide me. Okay, because you are my subscribers at the end of the day. Also, don't forget to share and like it. If you don't like, I think hopefully I'll consider. I haven't taught quite well, so that's why you didn't like the session. Okay, just like in case you saw the session is productive. And again, don't forget, we also have our online tuitions. Okay, starting from next week, that is 6th of April to 24th of April. We only charge this amount for 1,500 shillings. Just like you see, the subjects offered are English, Maths, Chemistry, Biology, which will be conducted by me, none other than Mr. Abdul Qadir himself, Madam Mariam Sharif, who has her own YouTube channel also called Silik. We also have Madam Caroline, who also has her own English YouTube channel. So you're dealing with best people here. One from high school called Bahari Girls High School, and the other one from a prestigious high school as well. So all of them are good teachers. So just in case you want to contact us, you may contact us using this number 0797550885 or 0736726008. Again, it's not free, so sije kawa napata wanafunzi waanza kusema ni it's a free program. I wish it was free, but now we need to sustain our stomachs, our children, and obviously the internet. I can't use internet free, so we are just using this internet. Lazima tulipe, right? Na tulipe pia sisi kwa sisi. So don't worry and contact us as soon as possible using this contact below.